We now know almost for certain everything that is gonna roll out with OPTX at the beginning of January, and we also have hints and glimpses of things coming up as well. So yeah, let's break them down. Let's talk about them, how all of this is gonna impact the price, and of course, as usual, when it comes to dealing with projects on this channel, we're gonna also break down some numbers to see, because I did make a small deflationary model previously, but now that we know all the exact figures, that number has changed, and we're gonna update this and see where we are in regards to that. My name is Roy, and I hope to bring you some value in everything that I'm about to say. Now, before I start everything, I just want to address one thing, because I've been receiving some comments or some hints and some statements sometimes in regards to previous Optimus videos. People saying it's a dead project, it's a rug. That one really got to me, So first things first, it's not a rug. The basic definition of a rug is when a person creates a project, removes liquidity, or steals investors' funds. And that is not the case. So the price action of an asset decreasing doesn't mean it's a rug, right? Because it's still trading, it's still building. And two, that project signifies that the dev team and the people responsible for this project have also given up. Again, a diminishing price action doesn't mean that the project is dead. There are so many things that go into consideration when it comes to assessing the fair value of an asset. So I would respectfully disagree to both of these statements, hence why I'm gonna cover all of the good stuff that we have coming up in regards to Optimus, and why there's still a lot of hope there, So price action aside, there are so many goodies. So speaking of, first things first, apparently both of the tokens, OP3 and OP4, are gonna merge into OPTX. That thing I didn't know previously, and that will happen. And OPTX is gonna be traded on the Binance Smart Chain, and that's it. There's gonna be one token, no more bridges, no more arbitrage opportunities, because this was set and the decision was made. So he did say, DeFi dude did say that he's sorry that they announced this, but then they took it back because they realized that this was the best approach. And if they did the math, they came up with models and checked all of these things and came to the conclusion that that was the best approach. Yeah, let's roll out with this, right? So that's one. Two, in regards to OPTX and earning 1% a day, that is no longer the case unless you stake your tokens, and there will be tiers in regards to token staking. So not just staking your tokens 1% per day, that is not guaranteed. You have to time lock your tokens. So you earn 0.1% if you time lock them for a month, 0.25 for 3, 0.5 for 6, and 1% for 12 months or a year. So if you want to earn 1%, you gotta lock your tokens for 12 months. But you're not gonna lose your tokens, because after 12 months you can unlock them and sell them if you wish to do so. Early on stakers are gonna lose 90% of their tokens. So that is a given, and that is something that they have announced already. I mean, I'm not gonna argue that the 90% is a bit harsh, but it is what it is, because they want to incentivize people to stay within Optimus and not just trade it up and down. Mostly down, as we clearly saw previously. That's two. The sell tax that I mentioned as well is also now determined, is going to be 10%, and all of these taxes embodied together are going to act in regards to burning more OPTX tokens, either through buybacks and burns, or in regards to sell tax, that 10% of OPTX is going to be sent to a burn address. So if a person is selling 1,000 tokens, 100 of these is going to be sent to a burn address. So you know the drill. You've seen this already in several protocols. And yeah, it is what it is. So now we have this. Now those are certain to roll out in January 2nd. And there are a few things that were also discussed that are a bit vague, more or less, but they're also more or less that there are also gonna become to fruition more or less. So let's talk about them also real quick. But before I attack this, This is when the announcement has made, actually, this right here. We were trading below 10 cents. And I think the downward trend not only is going to be attributed to people, you know, swing trading the token, panic selling, all of that. I've said this all over already. It's also because people misunderstood how they're going to get their OPTX tokens. So you will get the same value in dollars that you have right now in either OPT3 or OPT4 in OPTX, because it will be priced at $1. So if you have $1,000 worth of OPT3, you're gonna get 1,000 OPTX, because $1 equal 1 OPTX token. That is how the conversion will be for both OPT3 and OPT4 and the wrap token as well. So just to clarify this out, whenever this was clarified, this is the run-up that came into fruition after this happened. Because people now know what's gonna happen. They were uncertain, they were fearful, so now they know what is coming up for sure. I did also mention that there will be an Optimus DEX. Apparently this won't be the case anymore. Again, this is a bit vague because he did mention a DEX called Command Swap. I don't know if this is an in-house development or a very separate team that they will leverage their DEX, but DEX trading fees are still gonna be earned and used for buybacks of the OPTX, and burning them in the process. So that is still there, but potentially it won't be in-house, outsourced. So you can, you know, disregard other tokens being traded on an in-house DEX, because that won't be generating fees anymore. So it's just this pair, OPT-USDT for now. So that is what I know, that is what I checked. So regardless of this, there will also be apparently a big casino platform that hasn't been revealed that will also leverage OPTX in their games, and the revenue generated from there partially will come back to OPTX, but not necessarily through buybacks and burns, but into the treasury that will be used, of course, to add liquidity to this pair. So we don't know the names, we don't know exactly how much will that be, we just know that this is coming up. So this and the hint about purchasing hash rate in a proof of work type of currency in OPTX to, you know, to earn that token, wherever that may be, is also something that I couldn't quite understand in regards to how would this benefit OPTX. Because if you purchase hash rate with OPTX, so you have to purchase OPTX, yeah, that would add by pressure, but then the service provider is gonna take those tokens and potentially sell them or stake them. That's best case scenario, but she or it, they will sell these tokens for a stable coin most probably. So it's literally just an exchange of value in this case. So in this case, OPTX is a medium. Not quite sure how will this benefit the protocol unless the other party will stake their tokens. So I think we would need more information in regards to this, and also potentially a new DApp that will be coming up on Optimus. And this is something that, again, is an idea, miner-like type of DApp. Most probably is going to be used to add a tax that will also buy back the opt and burn it. So you get the idea. There will be a lot of things implemented in regards to burning as much of the token supply as possible, whilst also rewarding the investors that are sticking with the project during its highs and during its lows. Now I want to jump back into my sheet to show you in numbers how much of this token will be burned to offset the rebates that will potentially come to us through staking and all of that good stuff. So right now our total supply is about 64 million. So if we count in 1% in regards to the daily rebates, that is 640k of tokens being produced every single day. But of course, this is not the potential sell pressure, and it's far away from it. So right now the average price is about 15 cents per token. And in order to move on from here, I'm gonna disregard everything contract owned and team owned, which is about half of the supply. So about half of the supply left. With the old model, so with the current model of OPT3 and OPT4, rebasing 1% a day, after 15 days with the price of 15 cents a token, a potential sell pressure of 785,740 just from rebases. So I'm not talking about people selling their whole bag of Optimus. So rebases only, that's how much sell pressure we need to offset from that perspective only. Of course, some of it will be offset by buys from new investors, but the goal here is to also generate revenue, right? Because that was the initial purpose, and to offset some of this sell pressure from that. So OPTX is adopting a different model. We just discussed how you as an investor are gonna be earning, additional yield in regards to your tokens, correct? So you're no longer gonna be holding those tokens, and you're no longer gonna be earning 1% statically just by holding. So I decided to speculate the percentage of this supply that we just started with that is going to be staked in regards to the 4 tiers that we're going to be having, right? So we have 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, correct? So in my personal opinion, based on whatever protocols I entered previously and people that are enticed to time lock their tokens, in my personal opinion, the concentrated amount will be 3 months and 6 months. This is where most of the tokens will go. The smaller allocations will be 1 month and 12 months. So you're gonna have less people that will go with 1 month, because that's not gonna be too much, right? 0.1%. And also less people that are gonna go with 12 months, because that's a long commitment, and not many people in DeFi are gonna be waiting for 12 months to collect their tokens. So even though it's 1%, perhaps they will opt for 6 months and get 0.5%. So based on this, on the period of 15 days, taking into account allocation percentages, so I gave 15% to the first tier, 15% to the last tier, and for both 3 and 6, equally 35 and 35% of the supply that is going to be rebased. So with that being said, I came up with my calculations, number of tokens, dollar value based on the current price, and the total potential sell pressure from rebases. And that is taken into account that all of the supply is gonna be staked, which isn't gonna be the case. I'm sure maybe up to 70% max is gonna be staked, and the rest is just gonna be liquid up to take advantage of future potential price appreciation to sell them on the market. So even with all of the supply being staked, the potential sell pressure is almost more than cut in half, of the original daily 1% just by holding your tokens. Again, this is speculation. So I think that number is going to be less, just because not all of the supply or the liquid supply is going to be staked. But taking that into account, how much would we need to offset this on the period of 15 days? Just by using 2 sources of buybacks and burns, we can almost offset it. You see, that's the total remaining of the difference between the potential sell pressure and just the offsets from the sell tax and the DEX fees, which are now almost certain for us, because we know that the sell tax is 10%. It's all gonna go into burning those tokens that are gonna be worth almost that much, based on an average daily volume that I took, taking into account whatever daily volumes we used to have, and speculating that at least at the beginning of OPTX's launch, we're gonna have more buys and sells, hence why the ratio of buys is skewed more than the ratios of sells. So all of these taken into account, we're gonna be having that much just from the sell tax and that much just from the DEX fees. Because DEX fees works on both buys and sells, and we're not gonna have a tax on buys, but those are gonna be working based on the volume. So we're only left with 25k to offset from almost 3 sources, because this one is no longer applicable for us. So you have early exit fee, so that's a 90% on staking fee if you exit early. You have bot profits, and you have potential casino revenues, and stuff that I didn't mention, profits from, you know, the mining thing and the future dApps. Just 25k in 15 days, which should be a piece of cake just by perhaps the early exit fee that would overtake this number, or the profits from the bots. So based on these numbers, I honestly think that we could become deflationary. I mean, numbers don't lie, and we're trying to put our best to show to investors that this is something that could happen, you know, but of course not taking into account people just selling off for no reason at all. I hope you stuck around till the end. I hope I brought you some insight. Perhaps for the first time you've seen the numbers in action. Now announcement, perhaps you watched them on DeFi Dude's video, or, you know, asked on Telegram and so on. But hopefully the breakdown of the numbers helped you out to figure out your case and your situation in regards to OPTX. So with that being said, I just want to say that always do your own research. I mean, this category of crypto is very risky. But at least for me, I'd rather see things on chain very clearly than just invest into some shady centralized entity, not knowing anything that is happening in the background. Price action aside, the team is working, the team is here, and the team is trying to deliver something for the holders. So that is very important. And they're transparent. I mean, it's here. Granted, the profits from the trades is not something that we know for sure. I'm talking about the extent of it, how much they're making, etc. I'm sure they're there, but I think we need more transparency in that regard. I hope this will be provided something. Let's just wait and see. And if you want to talk about something, if you like the content that I'm showcasing here, please feel free to subscribe. You can chat me on Telegram as well. You can join our channel, DeFi Ascension, bunch of cool guys. We talk about everything. You can say whatever you want, positive, negative, as long as it's in the realm of fairness and politeness, please. That's very important. So, catch you in the next one. Have a good one.